Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching The Inside Scoop. I'm your host, Steve Scanlon. Sitting next to me is my co-host, Bubba. Welcome, Bubba.
Doing, Steve?
Pretty good. Sitting next to him is Joe.
Hello.
Welcome aboard. And making his return is John, as he's been on the show a few times before in the past. And I forgot to mention, sitting between Bubba and Joe is
Bubba's girlfriend.
Emma Lily.
Emma Lily.
Also known as Bubba's girlfriend.
Does she talk?
If you look long enough, Steve, she'll talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she must talk more than Joe. Okay, well, this
Talks
is
more than Emily because Emily's not here.
this is airing the weekend after Thanksgiving. So I would like to say Happy Thanksgiving, but this is going to be airing after Thanksgiving. So I'm going to say we hope you had a good Thanksgiving.
You won't in your house.
And matter of fact, what are you doing, Bubba, for Thanksgiving? I was going to come over if you don't mind.
I'm avoiding you, but my house is locked. My landlord told me no guests.
Okay, well, I'm eating at two places to begin with.
Here we go.
Yeah, the front of the turkey and the back of the turkey until it runs out, and then they get two more.
Wait, you forgot to bring the turkey in, didn't you?
I'm not bringing the turkey. Man can only have 6 legs. I told that to him on Facebook.
You know, we're talking about turkey. I'm getting awfully hungry.
Uh-oh. You were saying that during commercials. You was on the phone with me Monday night.
John, what were you feeding this kid when he was younger? Please.
It wasn't me.
No, John was helping a little bit. He was eating John's food when he was younger, and then John was such a nice guy, he wasn't beating him up. Or maybe you were beating him up, that's what happened to him.
You know, WWE was teasing me. They had pizza at their Survivor Series.
Oh, yeah.
And I was drooling, and it was so late that Attleboro didn't have any pizza shops open at that time at night. So I had to go to bed craving pizza. So I ended up ordering pizza the next day. But it's like one of those things.
Yeah, but you were drooling over something they were showing on TV Monday night. You were saying to me on the phone.
What's that?
Were they showing like turkey legs or something on the TV?
Oh, yeah, I was drooling over
night?
the turkey legs. You know, all I could think about was turkey that night, Monday night. So
Monday night
during
you're about
commercial,
turkey all week.
And Sunday night they showed pizza, which New Day was throwing the slice. Was it New Day? Or was it Street Profits?
Street Profits.
Street Profits were throwing slices of pizza to the crowd. And I was telling Joey, for that alone, I wish I was at Survivor Series.
Yeah, paying $140 ringside for a seat to get a slice of pizza.
There were only one state over.
What state were they in, Joe?
New York.
Confusion.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah, they went Barclays Center.
That's where they were Monday night, too.
Yes.
All right, well, Joe, before we get to the wrestling news, I don't want to skip over the death list. I have a habit of skipping that. So, Joe, you mentioned prior to tonight's taping that there was 2 deaths that you wanted to mention.
Yeah, like you mentioned Happy Days last show.
Yes.
Happy Days and Superman 3 star Gavin O'Herlihy. Not sure how you pronounce that.
Gavin O'Herlihy. I'm not quite sure who that character was.
Chuck.
Who?
Chuck, the older brother.
The one that was here for 3 episodes and got rid off?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he was also in Superman 3 as Superman's classmate, Brad Wilson.
Ah, so Chucky Cunningham dying.
And we got
Chucky the C?
former Red Sox player Julio Lugo.
Yes, that was kind of shocking. 45 years old, died from a heart attack.
45? Well, that's young.
I actually saw him play a few times live. Well, rest in peace. I mean, Chuck, we never saw on Happy Days for 3 episodes. And, of course, Red Sox infielder and several other teams infielder, too. Angels, I think he played for the Rangers at one time.
Yeah, didn't he play for Houston, too, or?
He played for 4 different teams, I believe. But no, he had 2 stints with the Red Sox. Correct me, Steve. I mean, you're wearing a Boston Red Sox shirt. That doesn't mean anything. It's probably the only one clean.
I'm wearing a Boston Red Sox hat.
Because you haven't taken it off yet. You haven't realized that, the playoffs are over yet.
Okay, any birthdays, Joe?
None I know of.
Like I said, folks, you got to go on WrestlingForum.com. That's the name of the site. My good friend Vic Salagosta mentions people's wrestlers' birthdays just about daily. Seriously, you want to see about wrestlers who have a birthday?
Okay, we had a WWE pay-per-view this past Sunday. Survivor Series 2021. How many Survivor Series has there been up to date?
First one was in 87.
Since 1987? Wow.
Like 30,
I think there was
like 30 some.
23 and 20, so 42, 41. 87 was the first one, and the first first time we ever saw The Undertaker and The Rock, actually.
34.
Yeah.
This was 34.
Why don't you have John read that list? No, I'm serious. What John read that list? John,
That's all right. I'll let Joey do it.
Well, could you read hieroglyphics, John? I had to decipher through them.
Well, Survivor Series this year paid tribute to The Rock.
Who?
The Rock Survivor Series.
What Rock?
Dwayne Johnson.
Don't know.
As they had
Don't know
a
Dwayne Johnson.
25-year anniversary of
his
The Rock
debut at
making his debut in the
Survivor Series.
WWE as they held a 25-man battle royal.
Yes. Yeah, they had excerpts back and forth of Rock's career. I was just being kind of a wise guy. He says, Joe, you need to get some conditioner from him. I'm a Lily's hair here.
Like that Emma Lily doll.
Well, I was advised by the Intimidator, okay, to Charlotte Flair her, but I won't do that.
To me, that looks like one of them dolls they do voodoo to. Giving him some ideas. I better keep my mouth shut about that. All right, Joe, you got the results for the Survivor Series pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Bianca, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Queen Zelina, and Carmella against Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler, Shotzi, Natalya, and Toni Storm. And Bianca was the sole survivor.
Now,
Actually,
where was Sasha? Was she the first one out?
I think
No.
she was one of the last ones out.
Toni Storm, I believe, was the first one out of that match, and Bianca came back after a 4-on-1 lead
I know
for
she was
the
out
team.
for the one.
Yep, I think Toni Storm was the first one eliminated for SmackDown team, and then with the other 4 against Bianca.
Okay, for the men's Survivor Series match was Lashley, Austin Theory, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, and Seth Rollins against Drew McIntyre, Jeff Hardy, King Woods, Sheamus, and Corbin. And Rollins was the sole survivor.
Yes,
Now, why did Kevin Owens leave the ring? I noticed he got
because
mad about
because
something
Kevin
like
Owens is mad because he wants to be in the title picture. He doesn't think he belongs in the Survivor Series team. That's what he said on Raw. Just to note, Lashley and McIntyre got counted out. Neither of them were pinned. They were new in their rivalry. I think it's a possibility. Jeff Hardy actually impressed me. He was the last person on Team Raw. I mean, wait a minute, on Team SmackDown. Jeff Hardy actually impressed me. I thought he would be one of the first ones out, and he actually last on his team. A little bit disappointing. Some of the people, I mean, Seth Rollins went out weak. I mean, no, not Seth Rollins. Why am I drawing a blank?
Lashley.
No, the Demon.
Oh, Balor.
Yeah, Demon Balor. Finn Balor went out kind of a weak pin. It wasn't a good pin. It was clean, but it wasn't. It didn't look like he even tried to kick out. He looked like he just kind of laid there and wouldn't pin him. Almost looked like he kind of wasn't into the match.
We have Becky versus Charlotte. Becky won.
That was a great match until, Charlotte tried to hold the rope. So, of course, when the referee's back was turned,
Turnabout's fair play.
turnabout's fair play, and Becky grabbed the rope and hung onto it and won the match. That probably was the maybe if you guys saw this, that might have been the best match of the night. Those two girls went back and forth very well together, actually.
You got Big E against Roman Reigns, and Reigns won.
That was a good match too. Very, very good. I mean, Big E made a good statement for himself.
Reigns actually did it all by himself.
He was getting pulverized in the beginning, and then Big E came back, and then Reigns did, Reigns basically did it all by himself.
We got RK Bro against the Usos. RK Bro won.
Yeah, they pinned AJ, as I said they would. RK Bro.
AJ?
What?
I said RK Bro against the Usos.
Well, they still pinned AJ. Maybe it was just Jay, but was it Jay or Jimmy?
I don't know.
Well, what good is that? And they still beat AJ.
This next match was in the pre-show. Damien Priest against Shinsuke.
That was a really good match.
Shinsuke won it on the DQ.
Yeah, well, essentially, Rick Bogue was upsetting Damien Priest with his guitar playing, was distracting him a little bit, and Damien Priest cracked Rick Bogue's guitar in half and then cracked Shinsuke over the head with it. The wooden guitar, the electric guitar, if it's even plugged in, but if it's Rick Bogue's playing, the guy knows how to play guitar. He was just distracting Damien, and I mean, that was, as I called, if you remember correctly, I called that, and I said that could be the match of the night. That was one of the better matches all night long as well.
Lastly was The Rock's 25th anniversary battle royal with Omos won.
My opinion, they should have all attacked Omos early and got rid of him. Well, Otis got distracted by a piece of pizza. I thought it was you, Steve, but it was definitely Otis. He started eating pizza because he was getting ready to go against Omos, and he got distracted by a piece of pizza and then got thrown out.
During that match, AJ Styles,
Who?
AJ,
Who?
was being stretched out. He was almost eliminated, which he ended up being eliminated by Omos, and I forgot who the other guy outside the ring had AJ, and they were doing a tug of war with AJ. Mm-hmm. So poor guy, he got stretched out during that match.
Was it Commander Aziz? I mean, he's another guy.
Might have been.
Yes.
He's the guy that should have went after Omos too. I mean, he's almost the same size. You know, and they could have put Shaky against him too. That'd have been three guys 7 feet tall and going after Omos, and they probably would have got him out. It's actually tried to. I think that was kind of, well, we don't know wrestling sometimes is kayfabe, so. Yeah. But then again, Omos is a tough guy. John, wake up.
I'm awake. Just resting my eyes.
Now, before I make the comment, Joe, is that it for the Survivor Series? Okay, prior to tonight's taping, you mentioned, Joe, that WWE is not having a pay-per-view in December.
Yeah.
No, that's right. That's the first time in I don't know how many years that they did not have a pay-per-view.
They did one before too. They ended up going 32 days in between a pay-per-view, and it was recently too. It was one time last year they didn't have one. It was like 5 weeks in between a pay-per-view. So they've done it before, but maybe they're giving people time off for the holiday. I don't know.
Well, this pay-per-view would be New Year's Day. Called the One or something like that.
Who?
Number One or the One.
Billy Gunn works at AEW. That's what they used to call it, the One. Sean Candido is joining WWE. He's a new one from SPW. Is he from Team One?
I don't know.
You should know these things.
All right. The One pay-per-view, which is a new pay-per-view, is I believe going to have both SmackDown and Raw participants.
So, yeah.
Okay, because I know NXT has their own pay-per-views. As a matter of fact,
War Games.
The pay-per-views that they've been having recently is the names of former WCW pay-per-views, like War Games. Was it the Great American Bash?
Yeah.
Halloween Havoc.
Halloween Havoc.
Mm-hmm.
No, well, you watch NXT, Bubba. Is there any reason why they naming these pay-per-views after former WCW pay-per-views?
McMahon owns the rights to them, so why not use the names if he bought the rights and paid for them?
True.
I mean, if you haven't been noticing too, we've gotten people released recently. More. I don't know if you have a list of them, Joe.
No, I don't.
I have a few of them in my head. I know Swerve got released. I know Tegan Knox got released. Who did I see the other name that was released? Oh, Tyler
Breeze?
No, Tyler Breeze has been gone for a while. With Fandango.
Yeah, whatever happened to him? He was short-lived.
He went to NXT for a long time. He just left about 4 months ago, John. Not even. The guy who was with Elias, Tyler Rex or Tyrex, the guy who had the long blonde hair, dirty blonde hair, and cut it all down, and he had a big feud with Elias after he was his partner there for a while. So released him, but the biggest thing they released was John Morrison.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I just can't remember his name at the minute.
I can't think of his last name. I never could. Tyler Riker, something like that. But the biggest thing was John Morrison, Johnny Drip Drip. Maybe he's going to go back to Survivor, do Survivor 42. But they released John Morrison. I don't know why. John Morrison's a good worker. But I don't know. I'm not in charge of WWE's payroll or contract. Are you in charge of them? I'm talking to you.
Does she?
Emma Lily. Yes, she does.
Oh, okay.
She's shy. Joey's armpit was a bothering us. Why had to bring her over here?
Okay, we are in the month of November, and soon it's going to be December. Well,
That's usually the way it progresses, Steve. It goes from November to December.
Yeah, well,
It's January after that, Steve. Third grade education.
true. Well, we got the last lights that's going to be turned on
Tomorrow
night. All of a sudden. Now, Joe corrected me numerous times. I kept telling him it was Halloween night that they're going to turn on the last lights, but Joe informed me numerous times that it's Thanksgiving and not Halloween night that they put the lights on. So
I don't know either. I have no idea.
Over at the light festival.
Do you see why you never should get dropped in your head a lot? See why when you were deprived of food when you were younger, maybe John used to beat him up. I don't know. It's a possibility.
Boy,
John is the older
you
brother.
got beaten up in the ABWF.
Maybe the intimidator. I mean, of course the last lights go on at Thanksgiving and after. They've been doing them for how long now? And you don't know that you live in Attleboro. How long, Steve? How old are you, by the way, Steve?
I don't have enough fingers to count that high.
Well, don't you, I shouldn't say that even just, but don't use your brother's toes to count up either. You'd be one short. Anyway, sorry, John, I couldn't resist that one.
It's all right.
That's just a zing to John. How many? How old is Steve? Lily's asking you.
It's 40.
What year were you born, Steve?
He's gonna be 45.
Close.
44
46.
years, he had no clue what was going on.
46 next month.
See, I'll be 56.
No, I'll be
in June.
45 next month.
You what?
I'll be 45 next month.
45? You sure? What year were you born?
76.
That's a spirit.
Emily's got a birthday next month.
1976, not 1876.
Emma Lily or
Emily.
Emily who? Oh, Emily.
She'll be 14 next month.
Emma Lily. Emily. The soccer player, like to kick things.
She likes to kick soccer balls.
Has Emily ever kicked you in the head when she was a baby? I know Nellie has kicked me in the head recently, so a couple of years ago. Didn't do it on purpose.
We're not getting sense in.
This is from the one who lives with her. I give you Exhibit A to my left, who actually lives with Natalie. You see what happens to getting beat up by a child? You know? And you got John over there who buys her things and is nice to her. What do you do for the poor child? What do you do for her birthday? What did you get Nellie for her birthday?
I gave her one of those trolls.
You gave her a self-portrait?
No.
How come your face is beat red, Joe?
No.
How come John's laughing? Stop picking on Emma Lily.
I'm moving her hair out of the right.
Well, you should go look at it. Look, it's all frazzled here. Look, she's got the split ends and everything. She condition her poor hair once in a while.
She's telling me she dates Chucky.
Chucky?
Yeah.
Doesn't date Chucky. Chucky has a wife. The Bride of Chucky. Did you see the movie The Bride of Chucky?
Chuck E. Cheese.
No.
Don't mention pizza and food. Just get off of food, will you?
Pizza. You know what? I've never been to a Chuck E. Cheese before.
Thank God we wouldn't be able to get you out of the... You jump to the balls, you'd probably get lost. You'd be on the bottom.
There you go.
Bunch of
Right in
kids,
South Attleboro, too.
bunch of kids
It's the
jumping
first
on you.
time to go visit Chuck E. Cheese.
John, make it a plan. We can go to Chuck E. Cheese. We can throw him in, and then have the girls jump in and jump on him. Maybe they'll get lost in the bottom of the balls. We won't see him anymore. It's a good way to get rid of Steve. So I can host a show for a while.
You already have a few times.
We could have Emilia, become a new co-host. She's taking your spot.
Yeah, and I'm taking that spot.
Yeah, you'll take this spot. We'll put Steve on the end.
I'm already on their end.
Well, I did go to a independent show this past weekend. I took a ride out to Hudson, LPW. I don't believe he watches our show, but I did mention one thing in our intro. You see me wearing a shirt by the name of, wrestler's name is Mikey Webb. Well, after 4 years, Mikey Webb had a match. And ironically, at the end of the match, I was not wearing a shirt, but Mikey Webb ended up on my lap. He was acting like he was disorientated. He was on my lap. And
I thought you were playing Santa Claus.
I was massaging his shoulders and telling him he would be all right, because he was acting a little bit disorientated from the match. He realized who I was, jumped up, and ran away screaming.
I scream too.
Kind of reminds me of
But-
watching a horror movie.
If you watch our intro here, and you'll see me wearing a Mikey Webb, the All-American shirt. I showed that to him. He was actually impressed with all the wrestling shirts I own. I had his on. Good wrestler. I spoke with Nunzio, former WWF referee and wrestler. Little Guido, same guy from ECW. He had a good match. I talked to Outcast, who was a member of MP3 in WCW. Worked with Evan Courageous and Tank Abbott and whoever the other guy was. I forget his name, but
No.
he was there. Excellent show. I mean, $15, LPW's end of the season show. And I want to give a special shout out to my wrestling brother and not really friend, but man, I respect in the business, Brian Cairo, kind of retired. He had a retirement match. If his colleague didn't win, Randy Shawn, he was going to retire. Well, he retired. And I spoke to him on the way out briefly. He says, you could be around? Yeah, I'll be coming to the show, but I won't be as involved. I goes, yep, same as me. You'll be helping putting up the ring, right? He laughed. He agreed with me. That's probably what he'll be doing, putting up the ring. It takes us older guys to figure out how to put up the ring.
You mentioned
There's one coming up.
Webb. Now,
Mikey Webb. Webb at W-E-B. No relation to
Not
Brandon.
W-E. No, I was going to ask that.
No relation to Brandon Webb. Two different people. There's also a match coming up this Saturday, and I've mentioned before, on Willard Street. RWA has them. I think they're calling it November to Remember. I don't know, something of that nature. I can't remember what they call these things. But for $10, you can see a great card on Willard Street in East Providence. I've mentioned to you folks this for as long as I've been on the show. Check out your independent wrestling channels. Check out your independent sites on the internet. RWA is listed, RWA New England. It'll pop up, RWA Wrestling. It'll show you where the wrestling sites are. Willard Street's kind of their new home right now. Great matches, $10. You're seeing 8 to 10 matches. Nice venue. I mean, you'll enjoy. There's places to eat up the street. By the way, the matches in Hudson, LPW is going to be back March 5th. I know it's a little early, but they announced it. It's a great place to get food. The Elks Lodge there had hot dogs, hamburgers, sausage with onions, pizza. We wouldn't get you off the concession. That's why I had to mention it. Even John, look at Big John's liking that one.
Yeah,
No,
good
you can't eat a
wrestling, good
sausage.
food, and
Only pizza.
that's what's missing at some of these independent shows.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I was selling at one time candy at independent shows, because kids want something to pick on while they're watching wrestling.
Yeah, you got mad at me. I kept coming to the table to get candy and more candy. You told me to save them for the wrestlers.
Yeah, well, the wrestlers and the people who were actually paying for it.
True.
I mean, I've had wrestlers thrown into my table a couple times, and I said to John Monroe to his face, I was laying on my table laughing. I says, "Damn it, man! If you wanted a Milky Way, you should have asked." And he took right like character and started cracking up laughing.
All right. Thanksgiving is tomorrow, and by the time this airs, it's after Thanksgiving. But I plan on eating at my house and maybe going to my brother's house, having a second Thanksgiving dinner.
Here we go.
And you said you were going to lock your door, Bubba, so there's no chance of me coming over to pay you a visit. And that leaves me with Joe. Hey, Joe, I heard
I
you
won't be
going
home.
to your mom's. Do you think there'll be an extra spot at the table?
I doubt it.
Hey, your brother Mike's not coming, right?
No.
Could I perhaps take his spot?
Man's gonna eat at least 4 turkey legs minimum, and
Turkey.
at least plate of stuffing, at least a plateful minimum. How many?
Plate of stuffing?
Please
I'd say a lot
hide
more
the
than
pumpkin pies, John. I saw the pumpkin pies. You hide them from Steve. Put them somewhere where we can't see them.
that. Somebody say pumpkin pie?
I want to seriously wish everyone out there a safe Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Time to genuflect and give thanks for what we have, and go back to the history and tradition. I joke and laugh with these guys all the time, but I want to thank Steve for letting me be on this show. I want to thank Joey for his tedious work all year. I want to thank John for being here. Didn't say much.
Thank you.
You've been hanging around with Joe way too much. I want to thank Ella Lily here for taking Emily's place. I want to thank our directors, and I want to thank LWBS for letting us have this show. Steve for being a host of the show, for going into your 22nd season, I believe. Am I right, Steve, about that? I believe it's 22 years. If you can't even count to 12, so. Well, you could if you took your shoes off. I think you have 2 extra toes. Anyhow, thanks again, folks. You have a safe Thanksgiving. Bless you all.
And have a good one. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.